Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here recording episode 199, and today we are talking about high-speed trains. If you're checking us out on YouTube, you can see that I am coming to you directly from a very fancy business class high-speed train somewhere in the world right now. Could be just at my house with a Skype background, but you never know. But we're going to be talking about some countries with some of the best high-speed rails and some pros and cons of using high-speed trains for travel and our own personal travel experiences as well. So stay tuned if you're curious what countries have some great high-speed trains, which countries may not have some of the greatest high-speed trains, and our overall thoughts on them. So stay tuned, and I am very happy to hear my partner in crime's opinions, my good buddy Jared. What is going on, Jared?
Hello. My opinion is high-speed rail is cool. So, spoiler alert. Please, for more hot takes like that one,
Spread a little love.
follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. You can also follow us on Instagram, less hot takes, more pretending that life is okay.
Spread a little love.
Untranslatable podcast. You can also, as Chad said, see us on YouTube and
Spasiba.
follow us. It never gets old. Follow us on. I could so easily go back and fix it, but I love doing this.
Spasiba.
Follow us on.
You do it so well, Jared.
Or give us 5-star reviews is what I meant. Oh wait, that's thank you. That's what I meant to say. Please give us 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher, and we'll say
Spasiba.
to you for doing
right.
so. Chad, rejoice.
Ooh.
Soccer's back. Sports are
right.
slowly coming back.
Bundesliga.
So actually, it started yesterday. I mean, it doesn't matter when people hear this. For us, it started yesterday,
Right.
And it was Dortmund versus
Schalke.
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 Right. Dortmund won.
4-0.
Did you watch that game?
I didn't. No, I
didn't either.
I didn't realize
I
it was
didn't either.
back. I had read something a few weeks ago that they were slating the date for the Bundesliga to come back in May, sometime in May, and being in the States right now, I was like, no way, they're not going to get it under control. That's not going to happen. Just no way. And lo and behold, they do. I did see the Bayern FC Union Berlin game today, though.
Yeah,
right
I
before
saw some of that,
we
too.
started. And dude, it's kind
And I
of
saw
weird.
the one before. There was Köln versus.
Yeah, I don't know who Cologne played today.
But I saw some of that game too.
Okay, nice.
You're right. It is weird because obviously there's like
No fans.
There's like 7 people in the stands, and I think it's like press. Various people that work there.
Right.
And it was interesting because I liked it actually. You can hear everything that these people are saying. It was so cool. It was such a throwback.
It's kind of weird though, isn't it, to hear? It is
Yes.
cool. I like that too.
Also, it
about
sounds
but
way
it's-
more violent when you can hear it. You can hear all like people running into each other.
Yep.
Like that really. I was like, wow, that's loud.
Yep.
But I loved. I heard people yelling like German things at each other, like phrases in German. I love that.
Yep.
I was like, oh, this feels like I'm back in Germany. And I liked that you could actually hear what they're saying. I thought that was an interesting vibe to it.
It is, yeah.
But it also
it's
made me
completely
realize.
different.
Also made me realize how loud they were, like when they yell at people, like when they yell at the ref or something. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's
Right.
not just for show. They're really yelling at these people.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And you really notice it when you can actually hear what they're saying clearly.
It's really interesting to hear the coaches too. It was a few years ago. I was courtside at an MSU game, and I could hear Tom Izzo, MSU's basketball coach, yelling at the players.
well, there was. I read somewhere that people were saying like the coaches didn't like that people would be able to hear them. Like people, like the other team would be able to hear them.
Right.
But I thought that's been my. I mean, not that the stakes were a
just
little lower.
whisper it then. Yeah.
But that's been my entire every time I've played, people can hear me because I don't have stadiums behind me.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, that's normal. You like, it's like, how about you learn to adapt? Maybe have some cool catchphrases.
You bring some giant SpongeBob style speakers to the football pitch.
Yeah, or do like what they do in what is it in
Baseball?
in football
With the signs?
Oh yeah, that's baseball. I think they do it in football too. They do it
Probably.
in college football too, where they have like ridiculous signs where it's like a spaceship and then like a firework or something, and then
Right.
like Velma from Scooby Doo, and you're
Right.
like, okay,
Yeah, baseball, it's weird like hand gestures and like,
Yeah.
touch your nose once and you
yes,
run your fingers across your cap bill. Yeah, crazy stuff
College
like
football,
that.
they have the crazy signs
Right.
where it's like what I said. One thing I did notice that seemed ridiculous to me were that there were certain people in the there that had masks on, but there were more people without masks, obviously, because players did not have masks on. There were more people without masks than with masks. And in my head, I'm like, I imagine everyone there got tested first of all.
Right.
I also imagine
I was thinking the same thing.
I also imagine that what's the point? Like, also the people that seem to have masks, I don't know. It's just like I don't understand the benefit, because I also thought that the point of masks is that everyone's wearing it, so the people you interact with, and it's just like I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah. The whole
It seemed
point of the
weird to
mask,
see. It just
the
seemed
whole
odd to
point of
see.
the mask is to more so protect others. I mean, yes, there is some protection from yourself, but I think depending on the type of mask, I think some droplets could probably get through. At least one thing somebody posted online that I saw was if you can hold the fabric up or whatever the mask is made up and light gets through it, like you can really see light shine through it. If light can get through it, obviously particles and droplets can get through it.
Sure.
But yeah, and what's interesting about that too, Jared, when I was watching the game, one of the Bayern players got subbed out towards the end. And when he got subbed out, he was handed his, yes, they were doing the elbow bumps.
Yeah.
They were doing the elbow bumps. When he left the pitch, he was handed his jogging, like his tracksuit, and a mask as well.
Interesting.
So that was interesting.
So maybe
and the fans,
everyone on the bench has to wear a mask.
Right.
But the coach doesn't have to wear a mask.
he's kind of on the field.
I guess so. He's kind of playing in a weird way.
The other interesting thing, too, about this was that the players on the bench, at least what I saw, were seated in stadium seats, and they were like pretty far apart from one another.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, at least the game I saw today. Now,
One thing... Oh, go ahead.
Now, the interesting thing about that, though, and I think it's great they're doing all these social distancing things, but at the same time, if you are testing your players regularly, and I'm assuming they have pretty good, accurate tests in Germany, I would assume.
And it's just a money thing. I don't know
Right.
if it's really just a money
Right.
thing, probably. And they
Right.
have the money, obviously.
Right. But I guess if you test your players regularly and you're cautious and you're careful, I don't know if it's necessary for them to do all that stuff. I don't know though. I'm not a doctor.
Well, some of it seemed a little the word's not contradictory, but it didn't seem to. There seemed to be like a logical fallacy happening in my brain, because also they were told that they weren't allowed to celebrate when goals were scored. Or excuse me, they weren't allowed to celebrate as a crowd when goals were scored.
But that still kind of happened.
It kind of happened. They did try to prevent it. I saw a few times.
Right.
Or they just do all the
And you get a
elbows
red
and
card,
stuff.
and you get a red card, and you get a red card.
Well, there was a in the game we didn't watch, the first game I think, the Dortmund Schalke game. I think there was a big celebration, but they just let it. They didn't punish them because it's like you kind of can't it's you can't help it. I guess, but whatever for a reason they didn't punish them. But it's like, but I don't get it, because these guys are playing soccer against each other on a field where they're running into each other. They're boxing,
tackling.
They're running. They're literally doing moves where you have to bump up against people.
They're sweating.
They're doing corner kicks where they're all just in a
Right.
giant group, or they're doing free kicks of some sort where they're all in a line and they're all bunched up, bumping into each other.
I mean, you can't
It's just
feasibly
like-
socially distance and
It's
play
like the logic.
a match. Yeah.
The logic made no sense to me. It's like, just let them celebrate. If they're
Right.
already running and sweating and spitting
Right.
on each other, essentially.
Well, and they have the medical facilities and the money for testing and all that stuff. I figure
it just was confusing to me. I was
Right.
like, this doesn't add up.
And what was interesting to me about all this, though, Jared, too, and a lot of this I've been watching tons and tons of the Joe Rogan podcast on YouTube, and I forget, I don't remember if it was the doctor he had on there or who it was, but it was a pretty recent episode, and the doctor talked about like this whole risk reward scenario, right? Where everything we do, there's a risk or a reward, right? Like you could stay at home, obviously not get this virus, which is great, right? Low risk. The reward obviously is you're still alive, right?
Oh, the risk is maybe money, though. There's still
be.
a risk of some
Right.
sort.
Well, true.
Jobs.
True. But what the whole point of this is, a lot of these athletes, I'm assuming they have the testing, they have the medical equipment and all that stuff. If they were to fall ill, I think if the players want to play, why not? They're healthy.
Yeah.
individuals, I would assume the risk for most of them dying of this virus, once again, I'm not a doctor, but I would assume, if they wanted to do that, I feel like why not, At the same time, I do think it's good they aren't having fans in the stadiums yet. I think that would be a little too far.
For sure. By the way, did you see who won that game? Because it ended as we were ending as we were about to start.
Right as we were about to start, yeah. Bayern ended up winning 2-0 against Union Berlin. Lewandowski scored on a penalty, and then Pavard scored off of a header. Once again, a header off of a corner where they're all packed in like sardines.
Of course.
Right. But to be honest with you, Jared, I think if testing was really readily available to everybody, to the point where if you had any concern, you could do a home test and know within half an hour or even 4 or 5 hours, or it doesn't really matter. But my point here is, I think a lot of those players, that's their livelihood. They want to get out there. They want to perform. They want to play.
Yeah.
Why not let them? I feel like some people have been really against it, especially because, like you said, there is this logical fallacy of you see these players. Yes, they are trying to take precautions as much as they can, but some stuff you just can't, right? You smash into somebody running down the field. It's definitely interesting. Yeah.
And the people love it. The people love it. I mean, I bet you views were insanely high. I don't usually watch soccer anymore, and I was there. I watched Cologne play some team I don't even remember who it was, and and so like I was into it, and people, and I imagine people, because I'm not even that big of a sports person outside of Formula One, people are deprived. It's actually, people are so deprived. There was Formula One news that happened just the other day, big news, and you should have. My social media was crazy. People were just
blew
like,
up.
People just wanted more. People wanted so much more. They're like, so who's going to do this? So that means who's going to go here? Wait, hold on, don't stop here. And people were talking about how they should have slowed down some of the news because they came out with like 3 things at a time.
Oh, yep.
They just blasted people.
And
people were like, wait, hold on, come back. So yeah, it's been. I'm happy to see sports come back. Selfishly, as someone that's been trapped at home,
right?
And I think NASCAR is happening today as well. I saw it below advertised when we were on the Fox website during the soccer games.
Right. Yeah. Nice. Well, Jared, I think that we should definitely
spread a little love.
That's right.
I'm with you.
That's right, good sir. I have a couple shout-outs today, Jared. My first one goes out to the group Pantera. Have you ever heard of them before, Jared?
I have heard of Pantera. Wouldn't they be considered like a hair metal band or something?
Oh, whoa, Jared, whoa.
No?
Not hair metal.
Okay.
Definitely not hair metal.
Well, they're one of those
heavy
80s.
Metal.
They're one of those 80s
80s
groups.
and 90s.
Yeah.
80s and 90s. But yeah, they so the reason why Pantera is on here today is they have raised $100,000 for Music Cares from the sale of their limited edition social distancing T-shirt. So it's a pretty funny idea design. So Pantera became famous, Jared, through a bunch of hit songs, Cowboys from Hell, Cemetery Gates. But one really, really popular album of theirs that really brought them, I would say, to the upper echelon was Vulgar Display of Power. And then they have a
good
shirt.
title for an album.
Yep, they have especially if you're a metal band, Vulgar Display of Power. I'm trying to find the picture now, but basically there's a picture of their album cover with some of the lyrics from the album. I forget what they are now, but they promote social distancing, like "Stay away from me" or something like that. And they've raised $100,000 for this Music Cares organization, which is to help out. It's basically a COVID-19 relief fund to help people in the music community who have been negatively affected by everything going on. Because if you are a gigging musician, you're not making any income right now because you're not playing gigs unless you are somehow monetizing your live streams online. If you have a big enough following on YouTube or Instagram or something like that. So
I can tell you what the shirt says, by the way.
Thank you.
Because you're really not doing justice to a well-made shirt. I'm looking at the shirt right now as soon as it loads on my computer screen. Where the hell did that picture of the shirt just go? Okay, here it is. So the shirt says, Be yourself by yourself. Stay away from me. And it involves what appears to be
it's a fist, right? Hitting a guy in the face.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's okay. Now I see.
Yeah.
It's a fist with a rubber glove.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hitting someone punching someone in the face. That's a cool shirt.
It is. Do they have any left? Should we order some?
They definitely do, for sure. Yeah, it's in stock right here.
But yeah. I think that I might have to order me one of those. That is
Were
a
you
cool
a Pantera
shirt.
head? A tear head?
I was actually. Yeah, I used to have a Pantera band T-shirt back in the day. Dimebag Darrell is the guitar player from Pantera. Sadly, he passed away a number of years ago. Rest in peace. But yeah, he was one of the best guitar players out there.
Dimebag Darrell.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a nickname.
It's interesting though, Jared, because when they did get started, they were actually a hair metal band. And then back then,
okay,
he
so what I
went
said
by,
wasn't that ridiculous.
Okay, but if you listen to Vulgar Display of Power, it's not a hair metal album.
Okay,
by no means.
I admit that I don't know anything about Pantera except I've heard of them before.
Right.
So that was just okay. So and I knew that they were like an '80s rock band,
late '80s, I think. But the interesting thing is, before they became more of this harder metal group and getting away from the hair metal, he went by Diamond Darrell, not Dimebag, but Diamond Darrell, and then he later changed it. So
he's like, no, I need to be a little bit more of a scumbag.
Right. But yeah, oh man, fantastic stuff. So that's my first shout out. I have a couple today. My next one, spreading lots of love today, because why not? My next one goes out to the band teachers of Plano High School. I don't know if you've heard about this, Jared, but this is a great story. The Plano band teachers have been traveling all over Plano, Texas, to serenade and commemorate the seniors for this year.
You said that weird. Serenade.
Serenade and commemorate the seniors of 2020. They are playing the high school fight song in front of all of these seniors' houses, going house to house, basically, doing a little high school senior band tour. And I think this is just awesome. This is a way for them to say, thank you to the seniors, do something kind of fun and unique. And when I came across the story, I just thought it was really cool.
So they're going to in front of their house to perform?
Yeah, each senior, just as like a thank you.
Oh, I gotcha.
Playing the high school fight song.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
a lot of dedication.
That's cool. That's a lot of school spirit.
That is a lot of.
I've never had that much school spirit in my life. That's the only reason why I'm slightly rolling my eyes at that.
Right.
But I mean, the teachers probably love it.
School spirit is such an American thing too. I would say. I'd be willing to argue. I would say. I mean, to the level we have it, yeah. What other countries have a marching band, Jared? Tell me that. That's true.
I can't even. Like when I lived in Germany, I don't even think those schools had like mascots and stuff.
There's another good point. Yeah, what schools have mascots?
That's a good point.
I think most schools do have like a school color, I think.
Sure.
A lot of places.
Yeah.
But yeah, mascots, sports teams, I think it's pretty American, I would say.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Even in Germany, we didn't play against other schools. They were all clubs that people sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very different. Very different. All right, Jared, I have one last shout out. Speaking of sports.
Yes.
This one is a really interesting one. Let me see if I can find the title here real quick. All right, here we go. So I don't know if you've heard about this, Jared, but a very, very famous Canadian tennis player, I don't know if it's Jenny Bouchard, is one of the most well-known tennis personalities, not only for her great skills on the court, but also for a lot of the philanthropic things she does. And so I don't know if you've heard about this, Jared, but someone has bid $85,000 for this package that Miss Bouchard has offered, which is basically, this is going to go to Feeding America, Meals on Wheels, and also World Central Kitchen and No Kid Hungry. So the package includes, and let me read this for you, Jared, the winner and one guest get a 3-night stay in a double-bed hotel. Winner and one guest will get seats in the player's box next to Jenny's team and the coach.
By the way, you really flew over double bed. That's not a great sized bed. That's
true.
Queen
for
$85,000.
Right.
Yeah,
if I'm paying $85,000. Right. But if I can shell out 85 grand, I can probably shell out enough for my hotel. So,
Yeah.
So yeah,
You go
anyways.
into the hotel room, you're like, you know what? I'll just stay.
Can I get an upgrade? I'll pay for it myself. All right, next up, though, this is quite an extensive list, and there are some pretty cool things.
I just got thrown off by the size of the bed.
Hotel,
I was like, my bed's
right.
bigger than that.
Winner and one guest will get seats in the player's box next to Janice's team and coach.
I think it's Jeannie, by the way, because her name is Eugenie. That's her full name.
Okay. Thank you. Winner and one guest will go to any tournament of their choice to watch Jeannie. So there you go. So that could be French Open, U.S. Open, Wimbledon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Winner and one guest will have dinner with Jeannie and also a round-trip flight for 2 people.
You know, when I hear those, like people paying for, like, dinner with some sort of celebrity thing, in my head, I'm always like,
it's gotta be so awkward.
Be fun. I know.
That's gotta be awkward.
It's like they don't care about me. They don't want to be there. They're doing it because it's a gig,
true.
Essentially.
True. Although I feel like if you're willing to donate $85,000 for something like this, they gotta at least be coming with some interesting dinner conversation, right?
Yeah, no, they gotta pretend to be interested. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it is like, interesting.
I'm not giving you my phone number after this for us to hang out.
Right.
And also, it's like you can't be friends with anyone that pays 80 grand to hang out with you. Like, already from there, there's no chance of friendship.
Now, can you argue, though, that you really wanted a lot of the other stuff? And, like, I would love to go see, go to the French Open or Wimbledon.
That's true.
Hey, I'd sleep in a double bed. If you're paying for it, I'll sleep in a double bed, Jared. I'm not picky like you.
I'll bring you along as my +1, and I'll upgrade my own room. It's like, Chad, you can stay in the kids' room.
You can stay in the double bed. Sleep on the floor.
But yeah, no, like it's probably worth it for all the other stuff. I would say, like sitting in a box at the Wimbledon, that probably already cost like 20,
a lot of money. Yeah, oh for sure.
And so but I'd be like, yeah, like it's cool to meet a celebrity like that. Like especially if you're a big tennis fan, I bet that would be cool. But I couldn't help but think this person has no interest in me. So even though I'm excited to maybe go to dinner with this person, I know that this person is just like, I don't care about this nobody.
Right.
I'm a winner.
Right. Right.
This guy's
Wouldn't
average.
it be crazy if they went on the date, they hit it off, they fell in love, and they got married, and they lived happily ever after, Jared?
I would side eye Jeannie because I'd be like,
okay,
this person paid 80 grand to hang out with you.
That's fair.
But like, I'd probably get over it because I'd be like, I don't know, maybe it could happen.
That's also
like,
kind of baller status, though, too, bro. I mean,
no. You don't
think so?
I would not.
Paid,
no.
If you paid
I don't want people to think.
No.
Because people would look. If I was that guy and I was in that situation, people would take one look at me and be like, this guy could. The only way this guy could ever be in a relationship with someone like Jeannie Bouchard is if he had 80 grand to blow just to meet her. Like it's.
Oh, that's
like
true.
Yeah, it's
that's
cool
true.
that I'm rich, I guess, but it's like that's the only reason this happened.
If you're that rich, you probably don't give a shit, though.
And then it's going to look bad on her because they're going to call her some sort of like, yeah, look at that guy.
Digger.
Of course she's like, yeah, he's rich. That's why she's with him. And then he's going to be like, yeah, he bought his way in there. So no.
Right.
That's not how I want. That's not how I want my life to go. I would love to have that kind of money. And I'd love to go to Wimbledon or something. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And Jeannie does seem like a genuinely nice woman, too.
Yeah, no, this is obviously a great thing to do, and I understand why these things work. I'm not shitting on the idea.
That's a lot of money, too, for charity.
Really, all I was saying was that it's a little awkward to go on the dinner date.
Oh,
on the
for
dinner
sure.
date
No,
part
I
of it.
agree.
But I think it's a great charitable thing to do. Let's be clear.
Absolutely. And I don't even know who paid that much. We don't know who it was, and it's probably better that way. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jared,
probably.
you might be able to buy dates with $85,000, but untranslatables are definitely going to cost you a lot more than that. So I think you know what time it is.
I actually would beg to differ.
That's true. I guess they're free, aren't they?
Untranslatable. Yeah. Clearly, that's not true.
Hundreds of them for free. Hundreds.
I like where your head's at. Hey, we could monetize this somehow. I'm not against it.
Right. Hey, put some untranslatables on a coffee mug, Jared. It's all about consumption, buddy. Consumption.
That's true. We need some merch.
That's right. That is right. Well, Jared, I want to test you today, and this is also partly in fact because the Bundesliga started again today, but I have only German phrases for you today.
Okay.
So I hope you are bereit, as the Germans say, ready, as we say in English. I'm going to give you the first one. It is, das kannst du deiner Oma erzählen. And you can translate for us, Jared.
You can explain that to your grandma.
Yep.
That you can explain to your grandma. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it almost sounds like, and you can take that to the bank. It's like you like believe that almost. It's like, and I'm telling like,
interesting. Okay. I would say this one is actually the opposite of that.
and you can take that to your. Oh, it's like a lie.
Yeah, it's like you're crazy. You can tell that to your grandma.
Like only
You're
your grandma
crazy.
would believe some BS like that.
Your senile grandma might believe that, not me, buddy.
I got you.
Das kannst du deiner Oma erzählen.
Speaking of German, have you heard of the movie Jojo Rabbit?
I haven't. No.
I would highly recommend it. I got my partner got recommended. I'm trying to adopt the word partner. It seems way better.
Oh, nice. That's fair.
My partner.
Your significant other?
No.
No.
She got recommended by a coworker, and we watched it. And it's a comedy about a Hitler Youth child.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
But it's it's a like this
called
child
Jojo
that's like
Rabbit.
This child that's like obsessed with becoming a Nazi.
Okay.
But his mother is well, I don't want to ruin it. But
Okay.
But like it's American, by the way. That's like, and I was telling Sydney, I was like, the only reason this works is because like a German cannot make a comedy about the Holocaust,
Hitler?
even if it was funny and good. I just can't imagine that
would get
from
bad
Germany.
looks. Yeah, that would get real bad looks.
Yeah.
Although they have made comedies about Hitler. There's a really funny German movie called ist wieder da, where Hitler
well, they are
wakes
making
up
fun
again.
fun of Nazis for sure.
Right.
But it does have some heart. It does add some heart to the Nazis and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it humanizes them in a way a little bit, even though you are poking fun at them. But interesting.
Anyway,
Jojo
sorry.
Rabbit. Yeah.
I have it just came to me when you said the German thing. I have a untranslatable for you. It's Mexican Spanish, and it's ya nos cayó el chahuiliste. Chahuiliste. The fungus which attacks the maize now fell on us. Now I really need to know how you pronounce that word.
I have no idea. Can you repeat what it is again?
Oh yeah. The fungus which attacks the maize now fell on us.
So it's what goes around comes around, right?
No. The fungus which attacks the maize now fell on us. So it's like I don't even.
It couldn't be avoided. I have no idea.
Actually, you're kind of close. So
It was
maybe
bound to happen.
I'm trying to do something like I'm doing something and let me just tell you, to get caught red-handed or someone puts a stop to your plans.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't think of the right way to. I feel like I used to be so much better at giving examples, and I've just lost that ability. Sorry.
It'll come back, Jared. I have faith in you.
Thank you.
As SpongeBob would say, soiled it.
Is that what he would say?
No, I don't know. I'm just joking. All right, Jared. I got some more German ones for you. This is a good one. Here we go. Du kannst mir den Buckel runterrutschen.
Now, I don't know what buckel means. You can, but the rest of it is you can me.
Buckel means hump or humpback.
Okay. I used to know what rutschen means.
Du kannst mir den Buckel runterrutschen. Runterrutschen, if you're going to roll your R's. To slide down. Runter, down, rutschen, slide.
So you can slide down your humpback, or
you can slide down my humpback, Jared.
You can slide down. Oh, like get out of here, get out of my face.
Yeah, screw you, basically.
You know what I imagine? I imagine like slide down my humpback. I immediately thought of Flintstones, where they slide down that dinosaur's back.
Oh, there you go.
And just do someone like you doing that to haters. Mm-hmm. Like,
oh, that's fair.
Boom, get out of here.
Right.
Slide down my humpback. That's what that can be. I'll sell that to a Kim Kardashian.
There you go.
My next one is
monetize these untranslatables here.
Exactly. See, my next one is
Brilliant.
Is Cantonese, and it's Bo Din Wa Juk Juk. To boil telephone kanji. You know, Chad, during these during these uncertain times, I've tried to take
$1 for every time I've heard that or said that. But
you know, Chad, during these unprecedented times,
$1 every time I heard that and said that.
I'm trying to think of another one, but that's all I got. During the new abnormal, I've taken advantage of this time to boil telephone kanji with
learn
people,
something new. No,
with friends old and new.
To reconnect.
Well, during and you know the fun thing about boiling telephone kanji is that maybe you haven't talked to someone in forever. Maybe you just talked to him yesterday
To catch up.
No. But what I'm talking about, catching up is happening in this scenario. I can catch up with someone I just talked to yesterday, or I can catch up with a friend that I haven't talked to in forever, and we just boil telephone kanji. Next thing I know, it's 3 a.m.
Oh, to stay up all night.
To talk on the phone for hours. You really like to dance around. I was like, how are you not getting this?
Yeah, no, I was not getting that one.
You're so
Jared,
close.
Well, Jared, due to my lack of understanding that untranslatable, even though you did a great job,
thank you.
You could have said to me, Jared, you know, Chad, du gehst mir auf den Wecker.
You go on my alarm.
You go on my alarm clock.
You get on my nerves.
There we go. Very good.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
Because, by the way, since this has started, I might have mentioned this. Haven't used an alarm once, although
nice.
My partner has, so it's not perfect. But, what the hell? Oh, yeah. But I hate, just hearing an alarm makes me mad. Every time I hear it, makes me mad.
Although I do like the new iPhones. They have a newer alarm sound, way better than that ear-chilling. Oh, when I hear that older iPhone alarm sound, I just, it.
You know, it's funny. I don't use a default one. I actually use a theme song from this podcast I like. It's it's great.
Called the
theme
Untranslatable Podcast, right?
Yeah, I just wake up to my own podcast.
That's right.
The thing is, now it's ruined. Now when I listen to that podcast, it's ruined the theme song. I have to.
That's why you don't want us to play the theme song anymore.
I have to fast forward through the theme song when I play that song now. When I listen to that podcast now, because it triggers something inside of me. So yeah,
can I give you a bonus one though? That's kind of related to this one.
Sure.
It's also German. Du gehst mir tierisch auf den Keks.
I've heard this before.
What does it mean? Can you translate it?
I don't know.
Du gehst mir tierisch auf den Keks.
You get me animalistic.
You go me, if you literally translate it, you go me animally on the cookie.
Yeah. That's what it would literally be.
Do you know what it means?
It's just like you drive. Is it like it also means you drive me crazy?
Yeah, you drive me crazy. You get on my nerves.
Is that from a specific dialect?
I don't think so. I think
that's just a German, German.
Like any goofy phrase, it probably started as a joke, and then or something like that, and then people started using it ironically, and then it just became like a
probably was
thing.
in some meme in the 90s or something. They didn't have memes back then. They probably did actually.
In some form, they probably did.
Yeah, they probably did. I don't know what I'm talking about. I sound like a real youngin.
Right.
Let's talk about trains, dude.
Let's do it.
First of all, as I mentioned,
hoping you'd have a choo-choo sound for today. A little whoop whoop.
Damn.
Although I don't think do high-speed trains make that sound? I'm trying to remember.
No, they don't make it.
Although, dude, I will tell you the horn. I've heard the horn on the high-speed trains in China. Holy crap, dude! if it just comes out of the blue, it is scary. Like it will startle you.
Well, you're also supposed to hear them. Like they're supposed to be like audible from miles, like a mile away, I'd imagine.
Right.
And so if it's right in front of you, it's probably
enclosed
deafening.
train stations too.
Right.
That can be bad. Like if someone's not stepping away from the line. But the reason why I open with this though, Jared,
what if someone jumps and falls? No, that's terrible. But what if someone like jumps like, and then they fall in?
That would be pretty bad. I don't have an answer for you, Jared.
That's the right thing to say. I don't know what else I was looking for there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, but that'd be pretty bad. But the reason why I brought up the horn and the Chinese trains, Jared, is, in my opinion, out of all the countries I've been to, I'm willing to argue I think China has some of the best high-speed trains.
I've heard that. Yep. Why do you say that though? As someone that you've experienced,
I've been on a lot of trains. Now that I think about it,
a lot of trains. But let's talk about we're talking high speed here. So I imagine you've been on the ICE, which is Germany's high speed rail.
Yes,
I imagine
the ICE for our non-German speakers.
Oh
yes.
right, the ICE as they call it. I imagine. Well, no, they call it ICE. I call it ICE. I imagine. Right. Have you been on the French one, the TGV?
I have not. No. Because I flew into Paris. I was only in Paris.
I mean, they're all kind of the same thing. But I've been on that one, and I've been on, and there's like a bunch, like every country, not every country, but most like European countries have their own kind of like name for the high speed rail inside of their country.
Definitely.
But yeah. So why do you think China is superior in your opinion then, having been on various European ones?
So out of all of the times I traveled via train in China, which was every other weekend, basically, not even, sometimes it was actually, there were a few weekends where I was only back in Jinan for maybe one weekend, and every other weekend I was traveling. And I only used trains within China other than like a couple flights to get further. And the crazy thing is that out of all the train trips I took, I only had one delay. One delay. I had more train travel in the 6 months I was in China than I did probably in the years I've spent, the year we spent in Austria, the 2 summers I spent in Germany, the other trips I've taken in Europe. I think I've traveled more by train in those 6 months in China than I did. Even with trains in the Czech Republic, I took more buses than trains there. So anyways, the whole point of this, Jared, is
You're experienced.
I've had over 20 train trips in China with their high-speed rail, and I think I've only had one delay. And China's a huge country with lots of people, lots of stuff going on. But I think they've invested a lot of time, effort, and money in China in the infrastructure for their high-speed rail, and it's fairly affordable too. I mean, a high-speed rail from Beijing to Shanghai was, I think, around $40 or $50.
That's great. See, and that's the thing that that I've always noticed about high speed rail is that I've always wanted to choose it because to me they're cool, they're fun. Especially it's more of
a nice way to travel.
It's more of a novelty to me. Because I'm not as I'm not living in places where I have access to it.
Not in the States, no.
But the thing is, it always seems to be, and it never really seemed, or rarely, I should say, seemed to be the most economical option in comparison to taking a flight, time-wise versus price-wise. It rarely seemed to make sense to me. But maybe
you have to weigh your options. No, that's a really good point.
But the thing about, we'll get to that in a second, though, because the thing about China is, since 2007, they've been aggressively building it, I read somewhere. And now they have the biggest, they have the world's largest network. And it makes sense, though, because, if they're gonna focus on trains, it really makes no sense to focus on not high speed with how giant the country is.
Yeah, and China, so if you're gonna a lot of people don't realize how big China is.
Right. So if it's gonna have to be even slightly competitive with air travel, it has to be high speed rail. China's gigantic.
Right.
And they're known to just build aggressively in general. That's sort of been their thing in the past 20 years or so, to just be aggressively growing and expanding. And it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Right. I wish we had it here. I was reading something about high-speed rail here. Do you know anything about quote-unquote high-speed rail in the United States?
Nothing really.
So we have. Let me
Is it
not.
through Amtrak?
Yes, it is. Let me not lie to you about this, so I can be proper at how embarrassing this is. So, it seems like high-speed rail would make sense here. First of all,
Yeah. 100%.
especially like on the East Coast and stuff. It seems like it makes sense to me. Now, there's something happening with my computer right now. I don't know what's happening, but I'm concerned. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Amtrak's Acela Express, Silver Star, Northern Regional, blah, 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 blah. So they have a few lines that are considered high speed.
I think the fact that I and probably most other people don't even know that they had a high-speed train or what it was called just goes to show you that it's probably not the most popular mode of transportation here in the States.
It's also disingenuous to call it high speed. It's high speed for our standards, but it reaches a peak. Oh, where is it? It reaches a peak of 150 miles per hour.
That's it.
And it's only on a certain stretch of. And see, now I can't find it, but it's only on a certain stretch of rail, and it's like 37 miles.
Yeah, that's pointless. That doesn't help.
Quote unquote, high speed rail is slower than any other high speed rail anywhere else, and it's like I could get in a Ferrari and beat you there.
Right. If there's no cops, yeah. Oh yeah, you could definitely beat him there.
Yeah. So it's like okay.
Right. I think the other thing that's so great about high speed rail and traveling that route is just the comfort, the convenience.
By the way, it's 34 miles. Just to be clear.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, just the fact that like when you travel via a high speed train, you can go obviously very, very far. And my experience with not only the trains in China but also in Europe. At least Germany, Austria. I think we were on a high-speed rail in the Netherlands as well. It was just smooth riding, Jared. You're going super crazy fast, but it's so smooth. Like it's really crazy.
And I think it's because it's not technically touching the rails; it's the magnetic system.
Right.
So it like floats above the rail. That could have been totally wrong, but I don't care. Oh shoot! Now that I got so caught up on that, I probably just lied there. I forgot what it was about. Oh, in China, did your high speed rail trains, bless you, show you how fast they were going?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now the speed of them.
It was probably topping out at about 300. That would be my guess from what I've seen around
here. At least 200 kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
at least 200 kilometers per hour.
200. That's like 160. So it was definitely going faster than that.
Yeah.
There's something so I don't know why there's something so cool about it because if we're thinking about like technology wise, I feel like an airplane is much more impressive. But I don't know why like I always prefer a high speed rail.
Is it though? Because I feel like the fact that you're able to sit in this tube with these comfy leather seats behind me that are way more spacious and way roomier, I would say, than an airplane seat.
That's true. It's probably quieter than an airplane, too, now that I think about it.
Way quieter, trust me.
There's no engines that are... Yep. That's true.
Yep, way quieter. I think you also get to see a lot more, which is a big plus with taking any train in general, is that you get kind of the scenic route.
The scenery is... that's true. I can't believe I didn't even think about that.
The high-speed rail up the Rhine River in Germany, like, gorgeous. You cannot beat that in the beginning of summer. Are you kidding me? It can't be beat.
What was also the food like on these ones in China?
So my experience with the Chinese high-speed rail trains, which were the ones that I always took from Jinan to Beijing because it was 1 hour and 46 minutes flat usually. Just boom, boom, you're there. Quick, easy. I can usually take
precise.
A little nap.
The timing is never...
Yep. Generally. I had one delay.
Right.
One delay.
Oh, right. Yeah, you said that.
And that was right. That was as I was leaving. I was like in January, which is also during Chinese New Year, so it's crazy anyways. This was also when this pandemic was happening, so a lot of people were going places. So it was
that's
crazy,
what it takes
crazy
for
times.
A delay.
Right. But the food was fantastic. But it depends what you get. Like I never went to the food cart. if you get first class tickets, which when I was traveling for work, you better believe I was doing the first class when I would get reimbursed for it. So, and it wasn't even that expensive anyways. US dollars, it was probably $20 more to do the first class than the standard. So anyways, and then you have business class, which is one step above first class, which is what you see behind me, actually. This is a picture, Jared, fun fact, of what a business class, which I had ridden, I'd been upgraded a few times while I was in China, and this is what this looks like.
So how is that nicer than first class? Because that looks just kind of first classy to me.
Roomier.
Okay.
Roomier, the seats are more comfortable.
Do those seats recline like a bed? Like one of those
Yes.
airplane seats?
Yes, and the front comes out like a recliner, too.
Yeah, now that I look, I can kind of see where the footrest would come out.
The armrests were nice and roomy, super comfy. But anyways, you asked about the food, Jared. So the food, the reason why I brought up first class is you will get a free little snack pack in your first class. Usually a water and then some type of like crackers or candy or something. So just a couple small little treats. And they were always pretty good. I never bought the like stuff on the food cart there, but you would see people get all sorts of stuff. You know, it was all Chinese food, obviously, because we were in China. But it was usually rice with
food.
some type of meat. Yeah, it was food. some meat like duck or fish or something with some rice and some vegetables.
Okay,
it looks like it was like on a tray and they microwaved it.
But you never had that.
No,
You never had it out of gastrointestinal fears. Or
I just never had it. It didn't look that great. Didn't smell super appetizing. And usually when I was traveling places, usually when I was traveling places, there would be a good restaurant there.
Yeah, it's like if it's only an hour and 46 minutes, like if it's not that long, it's like I don't need to.
Even the 8-hour train ride I had from Jinan to Harbin, that was 8 hours, and I had brought snacks with me, and then I ate at the train station. But I didn't eat. I think usually you get better food options at the train stations in China than on the train. Little pro tip.
Sure, I think that's. I think that you probably find that in most places, though.
And train food's expensive. I mean, even in Germany and Czech Republic, it's still more expensive than what you would pay elsewhere.
And I've never experienced train food that had any sort of memorability to it.
Right. But stuff at train stations, I remember I forget where it was now, but I was in a podunk little train station in the Czech Republic. I think that was also a high-speed train now that I think about it. And they had really cheap, really good homemade Czech food. I had it with a kofola, which is like a Czech Coca-Cola. And it was good. It was really cheap and really tasty. But that was, once again, not on the train, but at the station.
So why do you think we can't have it here? Why not?
I think
What's stopping
we
us?
like our cars too much here in the States. We're too spoiled. We use I think the number if you were to tell people we're going to set up train stations so you can conveniently get from one city to another, one town to another, but then it will make driving your cars obsolete. I think a lot of Americans would stick with their cars.
Yeah, I guess so. But that wouldn't make your car obsolete. It would make your car obsolete for certain things, but you'd still that's not going to replace maybe going to work or something, or for a lot of people. But I feel like we also on a whole here in the United States don't know how good we could have it. Like
we don't.
Our experience is with Amtrak, which is unreliable,
terrible.
Like much like it was, and like you were. It was if
I've taken Amtrak a few times. It's not perfect.
You should
for sure.
with Amtrak, you need to prepare for it to be delayed. You don't
for sure.
like it's delayed more than it's not.
Did I ever tell you my China visa nightmare related to Amtrak? No,
please.
Okay, so as someone from Michigan, our closest consulate to China is Chicago. Right? So I had to send in my visa documents beforehand to an agent. He looked at them, made sure they were correct. Then he initially took it to the embassy. You have to give them this big packet. You give it to them, then you hear back from them within a few days saying, okay, come at this date and pick up your visa. Now, because it was a Z visa, which is a working visa, you need to go in there for them to take your fingerprints, meaning you can't have an agent pick it up and send it to you. Right? If it was a tourist visa, I think at least in the past, you could just have an agent go and then they would ship it back to you. So I had to travel to Chicago. So I went with my dad and we thought, okay, we'll make a little weekend trip out of it. So we went on like a Thursday or a Friday. This was in July of last year, July of 2019, after I'd come back from the Czech Republic. I was to leave for China in August, right? So I had a short window to get this visa. And
no, you're good. You're good. Sorry, Go ahead. I'm listening.
And so we took Amtrak because we figured we have a lot of money we can save if we don't have a car to pay for parking, right?
Yeah.
So we stayed downtown Chicago, took Amtrak. We were hoping to do this on Thursday because we were going to stay there Thursday, Friday, leave Saturday morning, right? We were going to go on Thursday. Our Amtrak train was so delayed. We were delayed by like 4 hours or 5 hours. We obviously missed the time when the embassy, the consulate was open. So we're like, all right, well, good thing we gave ourselves a grace day to just chill in Chicago. We'll go in the morning. So we went in the morning. We finally got it done. But had we have not scheduled that grace day, Jared, and just depended on Amtrak to be on time,
4 to 5 hours doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
But now that sort of delay is probably not to be expected. But it's not. But like at least like 10, 20, 30 minutes. That's
Right,
totally to
sure.
be expected.
yeah,
And
4
the
to 5
thing
hours
is-
from Ann Arbor to Chicago, which isn't
Right.
that far of a
Exactly.
trip either.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I feel like all it really takes is like on a whole is for us to care. And then
Yep.
stuff like that wouldn't happen. It's just like people on a whole don't care about trains. So we let things like this happen. They're like, well, this is, trains don't work here. Trains don't work here. It's like no one's like Amtrak is our only option. And they call
Right.
150 miles an hour for 30 miles high speed rail.
yeah. Amtrak is definitely not great, and I think that's one of the issues. I think another issue too is most Americans taking a train would work in theory if you're going to visit a city, right? But a lot of Americans, when they
Yeah.
travel, they might be visiting friends and family that are in towns, villages. So you still need a car once you get to that destination.
I can see
and
it
at
working
least-
on like coastal, like on the two
Sure.
coasts,
right,
But maybe
big cities, yeah.
and then like I actually saw a mock-up. I don't even know where I saw this. How did I not even put this together? I saw a mock-up of what the U.S. high-speed rail system should look like, and it
Right.
had various lines on the West Coast that maybe went out as far as like the Denver area. And then it sort of, and then there were, and then, various up and down the coast from,
Right.
Seattle and Washington and Oregon and, Northern California and all that sort of stuff. And then, they had, one or two rails that went cross country. So one that went cross country going up through like the, sort of through the Midwest, in that sort of area. Then another one that went more through the South, like Texas,
cool.
Louisiana, and then it sort of reconnected on the other side to have a more complete network along the East Coast. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, North Carolina, or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, it makes sense. But there does seem to be some sort of I feel like some of
It's
it
a
is
lot of infrastructure, big investments.
yeah, it's expensive. Amtrak is broke. They've been broke since the 60s, I imagine.
Probably.
They probably don't have the money to do it. People probably don't care. And I
Right.
think you're right with the car thing, because I do think Americans, we're very obsessed with our freedom, and I
Yep.
think cars are kind of wrapped up into that. I
Oh,
feel like
100%.
there is a
Freedom
sense of
and independence.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
you can just hop in your car and go wherever, whenever. Whereas a train, there's a schedule.
And I think in general, we're probably one of the easier. It's essentially definitely in the more developed world, easier countries to have a car in.
Right. Yeah. And I would say there aren't as many taxes. Depends on the state. But, I know some countries it's super expensive, just the insurance and the taxes and everything.
Yeah,
Having a car.
I moved from Michigan to Philadelphia, and in Pennsylvania they require inspections, which
Yep.
to us Michiganders is ridiculous.
Yeah,
we
I'm
don't
like,
even
what-
need to get
yeah.
our cars inspected.
Right. Oh, there's some
any old hoopty
sloppy
you can-
cars. Yeah.
You
on
can
the
get
road in
running.
Michigan.
You can
Yeah,
drive.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Jared, I want to talk about some of the other countries. I'm going to give you the list of the top 10 high-speed rails.
Can I guess?
You can guess, absolutely.
Well,
Sure.
because I'm going to say when we were kids, and you heard high speed. We didn't know what high speed rail. I didn't know what high speed rail was. When I was a kid, high speed rail to me was the bullet train.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And in my
Japan.
head, yes. In my head,
Japan,
the original
yes.
bullet train was Japan.
Yep.
And so I'm going to imagine that Japan has still probably got a pretty good network of bullet trains happening, and that's probably going to be on the list.
It is on the list. Well, first, Jared, let me tell you how these countries are ranked,
Okay.
which might help you out a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are ranked according to the operational and record speed of the train, the length of track in operation, and the length of track under construction.
Okay.
So they have, it looks like 4 parameters here. So how many miles it's already in operation, how many miles are under construction, the operating speed, and the record speed. So what country do you think comes in at number 1, Jared?
China.
China.
That's
right.
Okay.
China. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Jared, if you're curious, China has not over 19,000 operational miles of railways. Under construction right now, 4,000 miles.
Jeez.
Operating speed, 217 miles per hour. Record speed, 261 miles per hour. So that's pretty quick.
One of the
That'll get you
fastest
somewhere.
land speed cars is a Bugatti Veyron, and that one tops out at, I think, 267, but it only does that for, it can do that for a max of 13 minutes, I think.
Right. Okay.
Maybe even less than that.
Number 2. What country is number 2, Jared?
When I was a kid, now I'm gonna. This is how I'm gonna go off of this. When I was a kid, number 1, and once again, I didn't know anything. I still don't know anything clearly, but was definitely Japan when you thought bullet train.
Speak for yourself, Jared.
But then I also remember thinking France. I remember thinking.
Okay.
I remember now. Maybe that's not number 2
France. Okay.
because it deals with tracks. And and like the network,
Right.
so maybe just
And
size
that's kind
wise,
of
that doesn't really make
that's
any
kind of an
sense.
unfair. They should really do it based on the size of the country.
Right.
Like the operational
You gotta do it,
miles
like,
and the
in
size of the
relation
country.
to-
Right, because obviously you're going to have, miles and miles of construction in China
Right.
because China is way bigger than some of
Right,
these
it's
other countries.
impossible for a country,
Right.
any country in Europe, ever to
Right.
get close to China,
Right.
just size wise.
Right, or try our country number 2. I don't think they could ever come close either. Hint,
All right,
hint.
let me think of country number 2. It's just size wise, really. Is it Korea?
Nope. You're
No, that doesn't make
overthinking
any
it.
sense.
You're overthinking it. Number 2 is Japan.
Oh, I thought I already said Japan.
Japan. Japan is number 2.
Oh, okay. I
China
already
is
said
1.
Japan for-
Japan is number 2 with 1,000. See, this is the big difference. We go from 19,000 to 2,000 approximately miles in operation in Japan with 250 miles under construction. And the operating speed is just around 200 miles per hour, Jared. And the record speed is 250 miles per hour.
Wow.
So China, the one in China is
So-
11 miles per hour faster.
The thing about the
than
record
Japan.
speed, though, it probably doesn't mean much. I mean, it probably has so much to do with like
Well,
winds
we'll
going
get there,
downhill.
Jared. We'll get there. There's
Okay.
this. China doesn't have the fastest. That's for sure.
Oh,
all right,
really? So
country-
267
no,
is
they
not top.
don't. Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
What country's number 3?
Now, as far as top speeds go, I'm a car
What do you
nerd.
think is the top speed here?
I
Jared?
got. Well, first I'm going to guess it's the Germans. Is it the Germans?
It's not.
Okay, I just imagined
not.
that. Ours
not.
goes 400.
Not quite. No. So yeah, China's 1, Japan's 2. What country is 3?
See, it ruins it. Now it's no more. It's not as much fun. I want to get. I don't know. France.
Nope. You're close. France is number 4.
Okay.
Spain is number 3.
Spain. Oh, Spain's a pretty big
Spain.
country. Okay.
So Spain has.
Spania, isn't it?
Yeah. 1,772 miles in operation with 562 under construction. Their operating speed is 193, and their record speed is 251. Now, number 4, as I mentioned, Jared, is France with 1,699.
Now,
0 under construction. Fun fact, Jared. It looks like France is all set.
They're done.
And their
They got
operating
it.
speed is 199 and 357. And France is the fastest, Jared.
357.
357.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, how is it? Now, you might not know, but
I probably don't.
No, I'm
but
just
ask anyways.
I'm just saying. I'm pontificating. How is it that they could be that much faster? Like that's not just the fastest. That blows everyone else out of the water by the
Right.
closest. That's like what the closest is 85, 67 or something like that was
Right.
what China was at 267. How is it that much higher?
I'm not sure.
I bet
I'm
you.
really
I
not
will
sure. Google
I
it.
will bet some of it has to do with
It's because
wind and maybe at like direction or something.
You know what it really is, Jared? The guys who drive the trains in France are all drunk on wine, and then they just go. They just pedal to the metal. They go.
Now, do you agree with me though that as kids, before any of us even traveled anywhere or knew anything about really countries, France was the second thought you had when it came to bullet trains?
For me, it was Japan and Germany. Probably because of my dad. But yeah, and Germany comes in at number 5, Jared, with 976 miles in operation and 91 under construction. Operating speed. No, it's not.
They're about done too, probably.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it's also
operating
because
speed.
I mean, but that's the thing about these other countries that you're talking about. Not only will they never match a country like China on size just because of the size, but they'll never match them on growth because these are also countries that have had networks for much longer than China.
Right. Very true.
You know, has even been developing.
Very true. Absolutely. So with Germany, Jared, the operating speed is 186 miles per hour. Record speed is 229.
Okay, it's actually pretty weak.
Yeah. All right. So let me just go through just quickly
They have
the
cars
last
that are going
4.
faster than that all the time on their streets.
So our bottom 5 are South Korea, Italy, Turkey, Austria, and this one I thought was surprising. Saudi Arabia comes in at number 10. And it looks like, so Saudi Arabia right now has 281 miles that are operational, and they have 0 under construction. So this could also mean, I could be wrong about this, but the countries that have 0, France and Saudi Arabia, they could already have their entire network built.
I mean, that must be what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine. And I'm looking at the Saudi Arabian one is really just like one, it's not that much of a quote-unquote network. I think we should do it here. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I agree with you, man. I think high-speed trains are a great benefit to a lot of people. They're fantastic. I will say this, though, Jared. In the current COVID era, I honestly think I would feel more comfortable traveling in a train than a plane.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I would say.
Now my reasoning for that is... Now you're probably the risk level in the station is probably just as high in my opinion.
Oh, I'm sure.
But at least on a train, a window. Well, can you open a window on a high speed train? But
I don't think so.
Well,
no.
You probably can't open a window, but you can at least get fresh ventilated air in. You don't have to use recycled air
for sure.
And you can take in air from the outside and
you can
have
also
a purification
get out
system
in between stops as well. At a lot of places. I will say this though, I don't think you're generally as crammed. At least the places I've been to.
Too. Especially you. You're
now
business class.
It depends
only.
though, because if you look at some Asian countries, especially like India or Sri Lanka or places like this,
they're sitting on top of the train.
Right. Now, obviously, some train stations like that are overcrowded, but at least the ones that I've been to in Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, and China, all were they were big enough buildings where, you couldn't always adhere to the 6 feet or 2 meters, but I think it's pretty good.
To me, those situations that you're going to get at like a peak train situation at a like a developed train station, at a big station or something like that, is probably about maybe a little less congested than airport, but it's about the same level. And probably at that point, as far as risk goes, it's probably about the same. But I'm with you, though. As far as being on the train versus on the plane, on a train versus on a plane, I would feel way more comfortable on a train.
Right.
Health-wise.
Plus, there's no movie called Snakes on a Train. Just saying. Keep that in mind. There's no snakes on a train.
They can just
Jared,
stop.
on the plane. That's right. See, no snakes on the train. Well, Jared, I think we've covered high speed trains. Check out definitely Europe, Germany, Austria, France, Spain, Italy, all fantastic places.
How could you not mention China?
Well, I wasn't done yet. But yeah, China also has fantastic railway systems as well, so keep that in mind when you're traveling there. And they're definitely, I would say, cost effective for the most part, unless you get upgraded to like the fancy business class like you see behind me if you're watching from YouTube.
I mean, if you get upgraded, then you're not paying for it.
That's true. It's always a nice surprise as an upgrade. So let's move on though today to our song of the pod, Jared, which is called Suavecito by the group Malo. Have you ever heard of this song before, Jared?
I have not. I have not heard of it, but I enjoyed it.
Some solid laid back and Latin vibes, but there is a reason why I chose this song today, Jared. And this is a very late shout out, but a shout out goes out to the family of Jorge Santana, the brother of Carlos Santana, who was also a guitar player, professional guitar player, and he was the guitarist for the group Malo, and he passed away a few days ago at home at the age of 68. So
there's been a lot of celebrity death recently. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Fred Willard.
Yep.
Jerry Stiller.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Little Richard.
Man, you're right. You're right.
There's a few others. I'm sure I'm missing.
I've had a couple people confuse Jimi Hendrix for Little Richard with the shirt I'm wearing today. Interestingly enough, I know.
I don't understand that.
I've also had somebody tell me nice Bob Marley shirt and nice Lionel Richie shirt. I mean, so there you go.
Lionel Richie.
I know, right?
I would love for you to wear a Lionel Richie shirt.
Dancing on the ceiling, Jared.
Weirdly, Bob Marley makes the most sense. That makes more sense to me than Little Richard.
Right.
Still doesn't really make sense, but that makes more sense to me.
That's fair. Anyways, back to our song today, Jared.
I love this song.
It's got some Latin vibes to it. Yeah, tell me why do you like it, Jared?
Well, it's a Latin laid back vibe. So you know, and the thing I love about Latin music is it always, not always, but you know, for the most part, at least what we're playing here that I listen to, that's on our Song of the Pod playlist, it always makes me want to move. But it's just that what level of movement am I putting into it? So this is still a very laid back vibes, but I still feel just like
got your cocktail drink in your hand.
Yeah. You know, just a little, moving the shoulders back and forth as you're having a laid back vibes conversation.
That's
I don't know. It's very soothing. It was
I would
very
say
calming.
this is definitely a solid song to listen to if you're making your way on a high speed train. Got a long journey ahead of you. I could use this song when I traveled from Jinan to Harbin. I tell you what, that was an 8-hour train ride. It was a long one.
At the beautiful scenery. I agree with you.
That's right. But yeah, it's an awesome song. Rest in peace, Jorge Santana. Check this one out on our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast, at the Song of the Pod playlist. It's fantastic. Also, I like the title too, Suavecito. Like a little suave, kind of cool. Speaking of stuff that's kind of cool, you know, Jared, learning foreign languages is also pretty cool. And I have a Russian word for us today. Can you try to pronounce this for me, Jared?
Sure. I'm not ready. I don't have Trello
for you,
but I'm opening it. Oh man,
here we go, people.
You guys are in for a treat. In a second. Okay. What the hell? Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to help you?
No.
No. Okay.
Citroni.
Okay, so let's work this out, Jared. And the reason why I'm trying to teach Jared how to read Cyrillic is so I can better read it. I'm just being selfish, people. It's nothing about Jared. It's all about me. But
well, before you explain it to me, let me just read it as I see it from my because obviously I'm going to mention this again. I'm so screwed by my Roman numeral eyes.
Right.
Roman numeral. That's not the right thing. But anyway. Oh, yeah, it is. That's what I meant to say. Not Roman numeral, but Roman letters.
Right.
What I see is a fancy-looking 6, and I know that little b is not that's an accent.
I think that's for length, but yeah.
Okay, well, some
stress.
Sort of. It's not a letter. Right. Then I see some sort of I, C, T,
a P, but it's not a P.
I believe that P is a R, isn't it?
Correct. Right.
Then I see that same little B extender thing.
It's a little B,
backwards N with a little upside down.
Looks kind of like an N.
Smiley face on top of it.
Without
the eyes.
So let me walk you through each letter that you don't know, because a few of these you already know, Jared. The first one, that 6, that little B with the tail, that's kind of like in between a B and a V. Or it's like I can't really pronounce it very well, so I'm going to be a terrible teacher for you. But it's like a B. I can't really pronounce it right, but yeah, it's difficult for non-native speakers to pronounce this one. So that's that first sound. The next one, that I, is kind of like an E sound. So the first two sounds you have is B. I don't really say it right.
So is it
Okay.
beached?
So, yes. So the next one, the C is an S sound.
Oh, beached.
Uh-huh. Not sh, but s.
Oh,
Beast. Uh-huh.
I keep going to the T.
Yep, the T. The T is a T sound.
So beast.
You know the P is an R sound. So what do you have so far?
Bistro.
Almost. That last, that I with the
Bistro.
backwards.
Bistro.
Very close, Jared. Very good.
Oh.
It's actually bistri. Bistri. And this means fast.
Fast. Bistro.
I never say it right, but yeah, it's fast. It means fast.
We
in
really need
Russian.
to talk to David.
We do. Actually, I talked to him the other day. He's doing well. But
Yeah, I'm sure
we'll
that's
get
good.
him. We'll get him on again. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
great guest. But yeah, so it's Russian for fast. So there you go. All right. Well, let's recap today's episode. I think we both agree that high-speed trains are awesome.
Yes.
Very good way to travel. It's a shame we don't have better access to them in the States. It really is. I think some of the perks, obviously, it's very comfortable. In a lot of places, it can be very affordable as well. It's convenient. A lot of places, you have multiple trains leaving every day, which is great. You also don't have to deal with the whole, security thing with the airports. Now, I will tell you, though, Jared, in China, at least the way it was before I left was you got your printed ticket. If you were a Chinese national, you could hold up your phone and scan your phone.
Sure.
As a foreigner, you have to have your passport swipe through these doors, these little kind of turnstile doors. Then you go through those. Then you put your suitcase through an x-ray machine, your backpack or your suitcase. You walk through a medical detector. They kind of use a wand. Metal detector, yes.
Oh, they said medical detector.
No, sorry. Well, now, from what I've heard, they do
now
have
you do probably,
temperature stuff, and you have to show a QR code in China that you have a clean bill of health. That is currently in China.
But you say show. I'm sure they might do the temperature with the person.
Yep.
But the showing of the
Clean bill of health?
that is a barcode on the side of the train, isn't it? Like, don't you scan it on the train
No,
door or something?
No, the door's just open and you walk in.
Or is it like a
train.
turnstile that you have to put it?
That's before. So the way it works
Okay.
in China, so the way train stations work over there is you get your ticket, or you get your ticket beforehand, or if you have the QR code on your phone, you show it. You go through the first check, which is just, is this who this is? Are you who you say you are, and is this your ticket? Then you put your belongings through an X-ray and a metal detector. I did say medical. Then you went through a metal detector, and then you had a wand waved by you to make sure you're not carrying any knives or other weapons. Then you would go up to the platform, and then there would be one more check in China where you would show your ticket to someone. They would look at your passport and your ticket, and then you would go through doors, and then you would be let down to the actual train platform.
I wonder why their security measures are so high, because in the US and Europe there's essentially no security measures.
Right. And I would say China is way safer.
That's what I was going to say.
General. Yeah.
That's
but maybe that's why it's way safer. I could be wrong. It's a chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Right.
But it is very different. Like in Europe, they didn't have those security checkpoints. At least when I was back there in 2018, 2019. You just went to the train station.
And it's see, I don't know the right way to say this, but like trains in Europe are certainly not considered, or train stations aren't considered the safest places to be. Like are like
they're sometimes
places
pretty
that
rough and run down.
Like they're rough and run down. And yeah. So it's just
Go
interesting.
to the Bahnhof Viertel in Frankfurt, and you're going to see some things. Trust me.
Yeah, it's a great place to get some, illicit
Stabbed or
substances.
drugs
A lady of the night.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, so I think high-speed trains are definitely great. There are a lot of countries that have wonderful train lines. China, Japan, Germany, Austria, France, Spain. Many, many places. So let us know what your favorite things are about high-speed rail at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast, for our Song of the Pod playlist, which features Suavecito by Malo today. So check that out. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So we hope you guys have a great day. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy, muchas gracias, 谢谢, and do swidania.
We didn't expect to have that much high-speed train talk.